And we're back, and today we're working on the Losi NASCAR, the new body. So this is the Proline Ford F-150 body for the Losi NASCARs. We're starting a modified series at our local track, and we are going to be doing either a modified truck, stock bodies, or whatever, but I think most everybody's going with the truck bodies. This video is going to be about painting your NASCAR body and trying to get that NASCAR feel. We're going to do numbers, livery. As a tribute to Matt Crafton, he's retiring from the truck series. And if any of you guys aren't really into NASCAR, it doesn't matter that much. You just got to kind of pick a number, pick a segment, look up some paint schemes and find out. He runs a yellow Menards truck, similar to the Ryan Blaney. We're going to have black hood, black bed, Slim Jim on the hood, Menards on the side. We've got all of our stencils figured out that we put in Cricut. Now, as I'm going through this, you might say, well, where am I going to get stencils? Well, there's always lots of options for stencils. You can look up on eBay. There's probably Facebook posts of where people are selling stencils, the right size numbers that you can put on the inside of the body so that you can get that when you're painting instead of using stickers. You can also use stickers, but I find the livery that I'm going for, and then I start tracking down logos for the companies, put them into the Cricut, and remove background, etc., and make a stencil out of vinyl, and we can put them inside the truck. Okay, this is Cricut Design Space, so I've made the numbers, got them all sized right with the correct outline. You can see I have 01s and 88s. The 01s are made for somebody else for another truck body they're doing, and then the 88s are for the project I'm working on. I always end up making extras just in case there's any problems. So we need to stencil this body up so that we can get it painted, because I need to lay down the black first because the truck is, so we need to put a Ford stencil on the rear, the Slim Jim stencil on the front, mask it all off. So we're just going to paint those two areas black, and then we'll go from there. So this is kind of just a video about how to show you how to layer and in which order you want to do your stencils. So with the Cricut software, you can get in there and make different size numbers, different size letters. If you don't have a Cricut, you can pick them up pretty inexpensive. They work really well. You can even just do it from your phone. You don't need to have a laptop or a desktop, except that does make it easier than using your phone, but you can use your phone. I've used mine a lot. But keep in mind, a Cricut is a very, very common tool, or a vinyl cutter, or vinyl plotter, however you want to say it, that people have everywhere. So if you have a craft store or a local scrapbooking store, they might be able to cut out what you need. Just tell them the sizes of the numbers that you need, kind of a font style, and you might be able to get them to cut it out. Also, you may be able to find an aunt or a neighbor or somebody in your church that has Cricut that does scrapbooking, or even somebody that does vinyls, and you can have them cut. Probably they'll do it just for free, or maybe a couple dollars cost of materials to get this done. It's very convenient for me to have it, but I also make stencils for other people, and not for sale, so I'm not selling stencils. You'll have to find somebody local to you, but locally here I'll do a few for some guys at our racetrack and etc. So pretty easy to lay out. So I've got everything already made. I have it all planned out. We just need to mask the body off where the black's going to be sprayed, and we'll do that first. Okay, so one of the first steps after you have your stencils. Now, what is the stencil is you have a vinyl graphic. You can see this is the Ford emblem, but it's reversed because we're going to stick it on the inside of the body. We also have started by putting one of the Menards stickers on the back. Now, the reason I haven't weeded it yet is because we got to do this in reverse. It kind of gets a little complicated, but if you're doing black and you have really light colors like yellow and white, you have to do the black first, or the black will bleed through. There is ways you can do it that you might not see it as much, but you're definitely not going to have the best crisp results if you spray the black later, or you'll have to do it in multi-layers of yellow and white and white and white, and then a really light dusting of black. That does work. I've done it that way. But we're trying to do it so we can get nice crisp lines. And so this is one that's already stuck in. You might can see the letters there a little bit. This is another one that we have. Now we're not weeding them yet. That's what we're going to do after we get them stuck inside the car, because we're only removing the outline is in black on the Menards part, and then the numbers, the inside of the number is black. So we use 2-inch painter's tape or 1-inch painter's tape as a transfer. So you stick it, let's see, where's my other Menards? So here's one that's not been weeded yet. You can see there's letters on there. This is exactly how we want to cut it, just slightly bigger than the actual graphic. Lay it down, put your painter's tape on there nice and square so it's easier for you to lay inside the body. And then, so we'll do this one. So you can use this as, the painter's tape is simply as transfer tape to put the decals on, and we're also going to use it to mask off the other areas. So we're going to go ahead and line the painter's tape up with the straight edge of the decal. Get it stuck down pretty good. And then there's your backer. So now all you need to do when you want to stick it in, you're going to slightly peel the backing off and go real slow at a sharp angle. Make sure you're not pulling up anything. This Menards one has a couple really small pieces that will probably pull up, but I don't think, there's such a small detail, I don't think they're going to matter. So you peel that back, you can see it's still solid, we don't have any holes. You're just going to want to take your body and already have an idea where you're going to stick your mask in there. So we're going to line it up with the top edge here. Uh-oh. We can see that went slightly crooked, but if I try to pull that off, it's going to screw up all the mask. So it is a RC car body, and that'll be just fine. So you're going to go ahead and get all your white parts stuck down nice and even. Kind of have a little tension right here, so we'll relieve that by snipping the tape. Gonna go ahead and make sure you get everything stuck down. Kind of bummed that that's a little crooked, but if I pull it, I'm gonna have to reprint a new one, and I don't really want to. So now when you want to pull the blue tape off, at a sharp angle, be careful right through here. Better to pull it, to look at it in this direction. If it starts to pull up some of the mask, before you get too far, take like an X-Acto knife or something and just hold that down while you peel. There we go. Okay, so in most cases, this is going to be how you're going to do it. So here's the Ford logo that we're going to put in the bed before we paint the bed black, and then we're going to do the Ford logo in white. So we need to weed it, and weeding is when you pull off the part that you're not going to use. So you just go carefully Make sure it doesn't pull up anything you don't want. This is a pretty easy one to do the weeding on. So that's most of it. Kind of lifted there. And then we don't need the inside of the O or the inside of the D. Like that. We're going to take our 2-inch masking tape on this one. Make it just a little bit bigger. Line it up with the bottom edge as much as you can. At least it's more helpful if you do line the masking tape up with one of the straight edges. So you can see how it's hanging over at the top, but it's straight on the bottom. And then we want to just kind of get an idea. I just put a couple marks on the outside of the body because it has protective film on it. So it's just to give us a reference how we want that to sit. Then we need to peel off the backing, nice and slow at a sharp angle. Okay. We're going to line up the bottom edges with those 2 lines on the bottom. Then pull the tape off, the masking tape, off at a sharp angle. Nice, go slow so it doesn't peel up anything. This one's a pretty easy one. There we go. Make sure everything's stuck down. You do want to make sure, I should mention now, or should have mentioned before, that your hands are extremely clean because after you clean your body and prep it, you don't want any oils in here. You're gonna have problems with your stencil sticking, your stickers sticking. So you want to make sure your hands are clean. I just washed mine. And I keep going back and forth if I do anything else and washing it. So there's the Ford logo on the rear. So the roll bars are going to be here. Spoiler here, so it's not covered, and then it'll be just above the body clips. Looks nice and centered. So there's that one. So now we need to do the Slim Jim, which I had to reprint because of the size. So again, we made some reference marks of where we want it. We ended up going with a slightly bigger one, so it fills out the hood really good. We need to weed this one, so there's only one little tiny outer on this one. Okay, so we got the front hood decal in. That's gonna look awesome. So now we need to mask the hood off here, mask off the rest of the body, leave the hood open, but we might want to go ahead and get the numbers stuck in first because they also have black on them. Okay guys, we got everything prepped the way that we need to. I didn't want to bore you with all the details. Yes, I used a lot of tape, but I like using tape a lot better than using paper and stuff because sometimes the paper don't stick down. The plastic don't stick down. The tape, you can multi-layer it. Make sure it's pretty stuck down. So everywhere that you can see through it, the numbers, the hood, and the bed, and then the Menards outlines are all going to be black. Then once we get all the black sprayed, we're going to remove all the tape, put in, nope, after we spray the black, we're going to remove the background for the Slim Jim logo, spray that red, and then pull everything off. Maybe add a few more decals. We might do a Crafton drivers thing here, and maybe a couple more. I haven't decided, because it kind of looks like it should have, it doesn't really need it. I don't like the little tiny square stickers they have stuck all over the trucks. They kind of look terrible. Not, but it kind of looks like it could be, but I think this will still look good, even if we don't do the tiny little sponsor squares that they have often on the side of cars, or the side of the trucks anyway. So we ended up getting the Slim Jim painted. So as what we got is we painted the red. Then after the red was painted, we went ahead and pulled. You can see there's an outer line, very slight outer line, and we did that in a dark yellow that we mixed with black to darken it to give it a shadow effect. And then we pulled the bigger line you can see here and did it just a slight bit darker. The Slim Jim logo is maybe a little brighter than this, but this gives it good contrast against the bright yellow we're going to paint the actual truck. And so that's kind of why I did that, was to try to make it just be a little bit different and not the same yellow. But I thought I started pulling the tape off here. I was getting a little ahead of myself. Forgot to record and show you guys how to go through all that process. Okay guys, we got all the blue tape off. And like I said, we're doing the yellow. So now we got to get the square part of the outer ring of the masks off, which should be pretty easy. We got 5 of them, 6 of them to pull off. We're going to start with the Menards here. So this is the outer ring. Got to get that off, and then also see that little white spot right there. That looks like the only one on this side. Don't leave any. I have done it before. You don't want to leave any spots that's just the mask, which is when you get to these detailed ones, it's pretty easy to leave a little tiny piece of the mask behind. Man, that one's stuck. Oh wait, get it? Okay, we got that one off. Okay, we're going to go ahead and paint the yellow, the main color of the whole body. I did pull the masks off the Slim Jim. Kind of forgot that I'm going to spray the white last, so I had to put some tape over it. Hopefully the tape doesn't pull the paint off. It shouldn't. Have to be really careful pulling it off. And I mixed up some yellow. I even added a little bit of white to it, so hopefully it's pale enough, because the Menards car is not exactly banana yellow, or I guess maybe more banana yellow than regular yellow, and so it needs to be a little bit lighter. And if we don't hit it perfect, no big deal. We're just trying to get it as close as we can. We have now got the body painted all yellow. You can see we did that a little bit lighter color. For some reason the airbrush was spraying some blobs here and there, but I don't think it's going to show through when we back it with white. We hope not. There's a few runs. I don't know what's going on. I kind of mixed it a little, but this is a race body, and will look cool for maybe a couple races. That it's going to look kind of beat up and scuffed and scratched. So, but you can kind of get an idea what it's looking like. So we already pulled the masks off the Slim Jim. We need to pull all the white that you see off of this, except for the matte Crafton above both doors. We're going to do that in black. That'll be the very last thing we paint. We've got some weird edges around the bed in a couple spots. Not too excited about that, but like I said, it's a race body. It'll still look good when it's all done and we pull the film off and get all the rest of the decals on. It's going to look pretty awesome. But okay, so we're going to go ahead and pull the masks off the Menards, the Ford, the 88, and spray all the white. That'll brighten it up and be one step closer to being done with this thing. Okay guys, so I started pulling off the 88 on this side, and for the most part it's pretty clean, but if you look down here, the bottom edge, see it's kind of jaggedy. Also here in the center, and on the first letter I pulled off of the Menards because the paint is still, it's too sticky. It's dry. Usually you can go ahead and do it, but I want the lines to be nice and clean, so we're going to go ahead and wait and let this sit overnight with the yellow on it, and then it should be hardened enough we won't get those weird edges. So that's what we're going to have to do. So it's going to be one more night that it's going to take before we get this thing completely painted, and then we still got to decal it. So this is can be a lengthy process to kind of do something cool with your body, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Okay guys, we have the Proline Ford F-150 NASCAR body all painted up and done. I am very happy with the results of this body. We put a lot of detail into it, trying to get it, you know, as close to accurate as possible for the most part. There is a few stickers on here, like window stickers, a couple of the sponsor. Those ones are just easy to use, but for the most part, this is all paint, and it turned out really well. There is a few flaws in it here and there, which is fine. This body is going to be raced. It's going to get scuffed. It's going to get scraped, but overall turned out really well. And it's something that anybody could do. You could paint this with spray cans. My experience with spray cans, though, is it has a tendency to bleed under masks a little bit easier, but it can definitely be done. You just got to be light with the paint coats when it comes to using like Tamiya paint, Spastics, or something like that. But all in all, everything turned out really good. The Slim Jim on the front was a pretty cool touch. I really like that. And this thing is, for now, we're not running the truck bodies yet. We're hoping to run a final race of the season of just nothing but truck bodies and see how that goes for the modified series. And all in all, I like the way that it turned out. Now, this might have been a little bit of a lengthy process, but it's really hard to do painting videos and get all that, because it actually took me, I painted this over time with a couple other bodies, which I'll show here. I painted a couple monster truck bodies at the same time, so that it was easier to layer the paint, use the same colors. So for my LMT, I painted a couple other bodies at the same time. I'll just throw up some pictures of those just to show you what else we were working on around the same time. Those also turned out pretty good. Don't have any complaints about those. Yeah, and hopefully this video kind of helps anybody that's just has an idea of what they want to go for. Like I said, the body isn't perfect. We do have little tiny flaws, little areas, edges of the tape. There's a spot back here where the tape was uneven. Just little things. When I was, unfortunately, this is one of the ones that bugs me the most, but you can see it less from a distance, is I cleaned the airbrush in between every coat. But for some reason when I painted the Slim Jim, I cleaned the airbrush completely, but I must have missed a pocket of red, and we got a little bit of speckle of red spray that was still kind of just jammed up in the gun, which is unfortunate. But it only got a couple, just a few pieces here and there. This side over here on the door pillar was the worst. But other than that, still turned out fine. And like I keep saying, this is a race body. It's going to end up looking like this one. Eventually, these things get scraped and beat up and get lots of beating and banging against each other, which is what makes this little car and this little series that we run so fun. This body here is the modified body I run on this chassis right now. This one was also featured in a video about doing a modified. This one is the vintage Ford Thunderbird. We did a Michael Waltrip paint theme on this one, the old Sicko 21 Wood Brothers, and this one turned out really good too. The only problem I had with this one that I don't like is the proportion of the door numbers. They're not tall enough, so that was the only thing that I really didn't like with this one. And this body's had some abuse. You can see we just raced it this last weekend. It's got a lot of cracks in the front because with the modified, when somebody gets out of control or spins out in the middle of a straightaway, you're going a lot faster, and these things just hit each other full force. Anyway, guys, hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully it was informative enough to kind of let you do what you want. The Losi NASCAR chassis is so much fun. We've had just our local group that we race with has had so much fun with these things. They're unbelievably fun. Customizing of the bodies and all the different things. Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video. I will have some links in the description for the body, the wheels, the tires, the chassis, even the airbrush that I used. I got a video coming up on an airbrush soon. If you buy any of those items from the links in the description, they help out the channel so I can keep making videos. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, and share, and thanks for watching.